The majority of Americans have said they disapprove of Trump and Biden. Look at their approval numbers. They are in the tank.
If we have 4 more years of Biden, that's going to accelerate the decline of this country. We can't have that. We need to reverse the decline. And to do that, you've got to deliver big victories.
The Washington swamp has done everything in its power to take away your voice. But this Tuesday, it is finally going to turn you away. With your vote, you are going to send a message straight to crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country.
GOP hopefuls making their case to New Hampshire voters ahead of Tuesday's crucial primary. So what are voters looking to hear? New Hampshire GOP Chair Chris Ager joins us now. Chris, thanks for being with us this morning. Coming out of Iowa, it was fairly clear, not only that Donald Trump was the choice and the preference of voters, but it was fairly clear that immigration and the economy were the top issues in Iowa. What do you expect to hear in exit polling from people from New Hampshire? What are the top issues for voters?
I believe they're the same issues. Immigration is very important, even though we're far from the southern border. We do have a northern border, and the impact of the open border is really in the drug abuse and the drug overdoses. Almost every family in New Hampshire somehow has been touched, and so the southern border very, very important. And we also got our first home heating bills, recently, and the price of energy is just incredibly high compared to last year. And so the economy and immigration, I think, are going to be the same issues in New Hampshire as they were in Iowa. Just
as a quick follow-up, you say almost every family in New Hampshire has been touched by the effects of drugs. Are you speaking particularly about the rise of fentanyl?
Yes. And if it's not, even if it's not somebody in your immediate family, it's a neighbor, a friend, a coworker's family, someone that you know at school. It's a very, very, very big problem here, and we've got to cut off the supply and the demand. But the border is what we're looking at for a presidential candidate to get under control. We also had a Brazilian mass murderer picked up in Rye, New Hampshire, this last summer, and 4 Mexicans being smuggled over the northern border. And so, having Mexicans being smuggled over the northern border really kind of opened our eyes that this illegal cartel of smuggling is working both ends of the border.
Well, let's take a look at where polling suggests New Hampshire voters are heading into the primary. 55% for Donald Trump, 36% for Nikki Haley, 6% for Ron DeSantis. You're on the ground, you're in the state. Is it your sense that polling is accurate?
It feels about right. We were at a rally with President Trump's team last night in the large auditorium, and it was electric. His supporters are passionate, they're very engaged, and they're going to come out and vote. We're going to have record turnout, I believe. But you also have the other side, which is basically Nikki Haley's supporters and the non-Donald Trump or the not never Trump folks, but people who want an alternative to Donald Trump. They're flocking to Nikki Haley. So I think we're going to have big turnout on both sides, pro-Trump and negative Trump. So turnout over 300,000 is what we're expecting.
It's not getting a lot of attention. We did an interview yesterday with one of the campaign surrogates for Dean Phillips, but the Democrats are also conducting a primary in New Hampshire. Joe Biden isn't on the ballot. He's pushing for a big write-in campaign. Do you think that, and I know you're the Republican Party chairman, but what do you expect to see from Democrats in New Hampshire? Will they write in Joe Biden?
I believe they will. There was a big push and a lot of money spent, and surrogates from the administration have been coming to the state. They're basically playing in the gray area of the Hatch Act, and they're up here touting the administration. They are pushing for a big write-in. Dean Phillips has been working, but the Democratic establishment's been kind of keeping him down, and so they're not really having a fair fight on the Democrat side. We're hoping that the voters do not, do the equivalent of a political Stockholm syndrome and vote for the guy who doesn't want to be on the ballot. So, we're hoping that people send a message that you can't skip a primary and then hope that people write you in. That's pretty ridiculous from our perspective.
Well, Chris, you have the nation's attention. Enjoy the spotlight for the next couple of days. We'll be paying attention to the primary right there in your state of New Hampshire. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.